I'm joined by the one and only Janette Manrara. She is here and we are going to be talking all about her book. How are you doing, Janette?
Hello, Ella. Nice to talk to you today. I'm very excited to talk about my book. I think you're one of the first people I am actually talking about my book. So this is really fun for me. I can't wait.
I know, and it's such a super exciting project, and like I said, I'm very thrilled to be able to interview you. We've got a huge amount to get through, so I feel like we should just get straight in. So everybody knows you as Janette from Strictly, but I feel like it would be great for our listeners and viewers to hear a little bit about your story before you came on screen.
Yeah, well, gosh, I'll try and keep it short and sweet. That's what. So when Ali Ash and I got married, that was one of his lines. He's like, "I'm gonna keep my speech short and sweet like my new wife." I grew up in Miami. My mom and dad are Cubans. And although we didn't have a lot of, growing up in terms of things, we had so much love and happiness and joy in our household. So I've been dancing since basically the day that I could walk, really, because music and dancing was always something that my family just did. So at 12, I started working in television. They put me in this program on a Spanish TV show called Sábado Gigante. And hence commenced my television career at 12 years old. And in the program, I would just do a little bit of dancing and singing and acting. It was musical theater based, and we'd do a little bit of a chat with the host of the show. It's like the little kids section in the program, which is really fun. And then I did that all the way up till I was 18. And when I turned 18, obviously I couldn't do the kids section anymore because I wasn't a kid anymore. And so I decided, well, what do I do next? And that's when the gentleman that would do all the dancing side for us said, well, I think you can really dance and you should dance. And I said, oh my gosh, can I begin a dance career at 18 years old? That's quite late to start. And he said, I believe in you. I think you should just give it a try. Why not? So I listened and thank God that I did because I love to dance and I love to perform. I just didn't know that I could eventually someday do it professionally because I was such a late bloomer. So I was like, okay, but then obviously I finished high school, so I needed to be a little bit more responsible for myself and stop depending on my parents. So I got a job and I started working in a bank at 18. I worked in the operations department, the loan operations department. And so because I was working in the bank, I've always been very pragmatic. And I thought, well, I should study finance then, because if I'm working in the bank, then it would be smart to do finance. So I was a pretty smart cookie at high school. I got a full scholarship to go to any university in the state of Florida. So I was 18 years old, studying at uni and going to dance classes every other day of the week. And I had a full-time job. So life from 18 to about 23 was quite busy. And then 23, I auditioned for a TV show called So You Think You Can Dance, which in the States, it was really big. And I auditioned for season 4, got all the way to the last round, and then didn't make the program. Then I went back again and auditioned for season 5, and season 5, bang, I nailed. Had an amazing time on the show, got all the way to top 4 girls. And it was an amazing experience because I got to really dive into the world of dance professionally. And then I went on tour with the show, which was incredible, 3 months all across the US. And then I came into that kind of sliding doors moment in my life where I can go back and go back to uni, finish the rest of my degree. Or I say, do you know what? Let's try Los Angeles and let's see if I can get a career in dancing professionally. And I asked my parents, and they were incredible because they are big dreamers. And they said, you will never forgive yourself if you don't try. And you don't want to live a life of what if, you know? So I packed my bags, moved to LA, and that's kind of when the domino effect of my dance career really kicked off because then I worked in the Oscars. I started doing Glee. I met the choreographer for Burn the Floor. And then Burn the Floor eventually led me to performing here in the UK in the West End. And that's when the producers of Strictly found me and offered me and Aliash actually a position on the show. So it all started quite late for me, but I feel honestly with all my heart that if you work really, really hard towards something and if you believe in yourself and you just keep at it, eventually something positive will come from it. And I'm very, very happy to say that I was a professional dancer. I did 8 years on Strictly Come Dancing. I'm still dancing, doing my own shows and my own tours. So yeah, I'm a happy bunny.
Yeah. Would you, if you were to tell yourself, that 23-year-old Janette, that this is what your life would pan out like, would she believe it?
Oh, do you know, I'll be honest with you, I think I would have because there was a part of me that was always like, no, this can't be it. this can't be it. I felt it in my bones. I really believed. And it's so hard. I feel like that is a very difficult feeling to have. And it's one that so many people struggle with because they lose confidence in themselves. They think it's impossible. It's too hard of a dream to achieve. But I was always the ever optimistic. And I thought, no, someday something's going to happen. If I keep at this, if I keep trying, if I don't give up on it, I didn't know to what capacity, but I did feel in my heart that eventually something would come along that would make me happy and where I could really dance and do what I love most in the world.
And would you believe if you could tell yourself that you are now coming out with a book? So
No, that I definitely wouldn't. I've always enjoyed writing. I knew that there was a little bit of a writer in me or a storyteller or something, but having my own book and releasing it, I'm still pinching myself going, what? This is actually happening. So it's kind of you know, a left field thing that I just never expected I'd dive into and like so much. I really, really enjoyed the writing process.
that's amazing. And we're going to get into that a little bit more later. Let's talk about the book. Where did the inspiration for the name of the book actually come from?
Oh, Tiny Dancer, big world. Well, there's a couple of things for the title. So it's not an autobiography. It's not a story of my life and my career. So I didn't want the title to be solely about Jeanette or dancing or anything like that. However, because I am so diddy and small, and everybody says, oh, you're the little one, or you're the pocket rocket, oh, you're the thing. I thought, Tiny Dancer just felt right. And it just, I don't know, I knew that I wanted Tiny Dancer in the title somehow. But then I thought Tiny Dancer makes it sound too biographical. I didn't want it to feel like a biography. So I added Big World because I kind of like the oxymoron of it. The fact that I'm a tiny dancer in a big world, the play on the words, I just liked how it sounded. But once you read the book, you realize that Tiny Dancer Big World stands for a lot of things. It's not just me surviving in a big world, it's about the big worlds that exist within me as well. Like all my feelings and my emotions and my thoughts. That is a big, big universe that exists within me that I think I was finally ready to start sharing with people. And then at the same time, on another angle, I think and I hope the readers feel like they are the tiny dancer in a big world. Because this book is about opening up all those kind of feelings and all those thoughts and all those big feelings that we all have inside. So the reader might feel like a tiny dancer in a big world, but that's okay. Because that's what the journey of the book is about, exploring that kind of world within and also learning to deal with the world around us. So I like to hope that the tiny dancer represents not just me, but the reader, and that the big world is not necessarily just the big world around us, but the big world that we all have inside of us.
I love that. So it's almost like you're going on a journey, and you're taking the reader on a journey through life, trying to almost help them
Yeah.
navigate their way through.
Yeah, I felt that the title should be a representation of me and the reader because really I'm opening up to you so much and I'm telling you so many stories, but I'm also giving you so many tips and so much advice and so much information. So I wanted it to feel like the reader and I are intertwined and doing this whole thing together.
And did you have an inspiration behind the book? Like, why were you compelled to, or why did you feel compelled to write it?
Well, that's a deep question actually, but I'm going to try and give it the best answer I can. So, during COVID, I really felt a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of nervousness, like I think many of us did. And especially if you were in the arts, we couldn't perform. I couldn't be on stage. I couldn't do what I do. I felt very, very scared during COVID. And so delved into this world of meditation and well being and mental health and just awareness and mindfulness to help me navigate a really complicated time in human history, if you think about it.
Mm.
And the more that I delved into it, the more I fell in love with how I was feeling after it. I took this course by Dr. Laurie Santos. She's a professor at Yale University. And one of my best friends, Ashley Roberts, she took the course as well. And she said, you should do it. It was a really great course. And I took the course and I felt really excited by everything that I was learning and how it was making me feel. And then I liked it so much that I furthered that. And then I took a proper, like, 1 year well being course online. And so I have a certification in well-being, which makes me really excited. I feel like I'm official. But in a way, I'm not official. I can't like go and become a counselor and start helping people or anything like that. I'm just a big enthusiast of it. I like it. I like to study it. And it was about like I felt that there was so many little things that I applied into my own life and so many things that are science related that can help people helped me understand why I behave the way that I behave and why I maybe react to things the way that I react. And I thought, you know what, this is something that everybody should know. And everybody should feel like, oh, well, if I reacted like that because of that, or oh, maybe next time I feel this way, I can do this for that. So I wanted to share everything that I learned with other people because I felt it was valuable information that is easily attainable and easily accessible. It's not like I'm teaching rocket science in the book, you know. I'm just teaching you as a reader why your mind and your feelings can sometimes do the things they do, how you can work alongside of it, how you can maybe change habits that you want to change. And then in the midst of that, share with you my own stories of how I adapted my own choices in my own life to make those things work. So for me, this book is a lot about helping other people. It's crucial to me that whoever reads it puts the book down at the end and goes, "Wow, I learned something about myself. I learned something about how to, function in life. I learned, even if it's the smallest thing, I just want to help people more than anything else." That was the real reason for writing this book.
I love that, and I feel like it's going to make such a difference to so many people. And I think, like you said, during COVID, we lost so much. I think it's almost like you're bringing a community together.
Yes, exactly that. And I remember in COVID, you specifically, I was online talking with people, connecting. We were doing party ballet classes. We were doing talks with Janette. It was all about connection. And I hope that by the time that you finish the book, if you read it and all the way through, that you feel a little bit more connected, not just to all the people around you, but to yourself, that you have a better understanding of who you are. And yeah, just to have that human experience through writing, I'm sorry, through reading would be amazing for me, for the reader to feel. I'm not a psychiatrist and I'm not a doctor, but I wanted to help it make it simple for people to understand why it functions the way it functions sometimes, and what you can do to hopefully help you live with those decisions that you make and the choices that we make.
From what we spoke about before, you said social media is quite a prominent part in your book. Would you care to go into a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, there's a chapter called The Thief. And it's all about social comparison because comparison is the thief of joy. That's a famous quote. And I feel this specific chapter is very important, I think, for right now. All the chapters I think are important. Every single one has something special about them that I want the reader to take away from it. The Thief in particular is about the issues with social media and social comparison. And if you are a young reader in your teens or early 20s, I think this chapter will resonate deeply because it's a world that is evolving massively. Social media has become such a huge media to connect with people, for businesses to promote themselves, for everything. So I have a nervousness that if we are not aware of the dangers of it and that we don't know how to function alongside with it in a healthy way, it could lead us into a very, very dark path. So, The Thief is a chapter where I talk about how social media can be a very positive thing. For example, again, what happened in COVID, we were so isolated, but luckily we had social media to connect, to talk to the people, to interchange information and keep ourselves feeling like we're not alone in a world. However, it's also a very dangerous place because you immediately begin comparing yourself to other people. You get keyboard warriors that just think that there's nobody on the other end of it when they say the nasty things that they say online. So I talk about it as well in another chapter called It's All Connected. So it comes up twice, the social media thing. And I think it's important to realize that social media is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. However, all people post online 90% of the time is the good times. Very rarely do you see us sharing us crying or us having a bad day or somebody having a full meltdown and filming it and putting it online. You know, you just don't. It's just when you want to share something with people, normally you want to share something because you're excited or happy about it, which is why on social media we only tend to see the happy and the good stuff that happens. And it could be quite deceiving if you don't understand that although this person is posting all this, that person also has the same bad days that you do, the same kind of mental issues, the same kind of worries and fears and nervousness and probably anxiety, the same. So I think it's crucial that we kind of take social media and understand how to work alongside it and not see it as like the all encompassing one way to live our life. Just say it's a part of who we are, but it doesn't represent my value. I can't value myself based on how many likes or based on the comments or based on how many followers I have, you know. I never look at my follower number. I wish there was a way to turn it off so I didn't even see it, because if you start focusing on how many likes or how many followers or the thing, you start losing sight of what social media is about. And it's really about just connecting, feeling inspired by other people, and connecting with families or friends. Or I talk about a social media cleanse. That's in the book as well, where you go through your social media and an account that you follow that might make you feel a little bit sad every time you go to it. Why do you follow it then? Just take it out and follow accounts that inspire you, that when you go to them make you feel happy, or accounts that, you know, are informational if you want to learn something, or just, you know, when you start scrolling, you're feeding your mind without even thinking, but you can choose what it is that pops up. You can choose what those things are that are going to be popping up constantly. So there is an essence of control of what you're putting into your thoughts. Um, and yeah, so this is it's a big part of the book, in those two chapters, because I think it's a big takeaway for right now and what's happening right now in society. And I try, you know, I try to, if I'm having a bad day, if I'm not feeling great, I try to post those as well as much as I can, because like I said, it's important to be honest and as real as possible on social media.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want people to come to my Instagram account and get sad because I'm sad. I want them to feel happy or inspired or joyful. So I'm conscious of how much of that I put on, because I just want people to enjoy coming to see what I'm doing in my day in a good way.